Welcome to Modikar channel. You know, we often ask, why do people get angry? Not just one person, but a whole society. Well, sometimes the best way to understand a huge social issue like public anger is to look at the exact words people use to talk about it. So today we're going to dive into a really powerful text from Indonesia to uncover not just what people are saying, but what those words really mean.
So, what can a piece of text actually reveal? I mean, it's so much more than just words on a page, right? Think of it like a window. A window into a perspective, a history, and all those deep feelings that are kind of simmering just below the surface. We're going to break down the language to unlock the real story being told here.
All right, so the source text we're exploring today gets right to the heart of this incredibly powerful and often misunderstood emotion, public anger. And this isn't just about a single protest or one event. No, this is about digging way deeper into the roots of what makes an entire population feel like they have to take to the streets.
This quote right here, this is the core of the entire argument. It's telling us that widespread anger isn't some kind of flash flood. It's more like a reservoir, slowly filling up over time. And that keyword here is accumulation, an accumulation of disappointments. It's a slow burn, not a sudden explosion.
Okay, so to really get a handle on that slow burn idea, we need to look at the language itself. The text uses a few key words that are more than just vocabulary. They're like the conceptual building blocks for the entire argument. Let's get into it.
So our first key word is accumulation. Now, we heard it means accumulation, but in this context, it is so much more. Just imagine a series of disappointing government policies just piling up, one after another. Each one adds a little more weight, a little more pressure. That's accumulation, a word that really carries the weight of frustration.
So, what happens when all that accumulated pressure needs release? Well, that brings us to our next word, pemicu, which means trigger. The text talks about a specific incident involving an online motorcycle taxi driver. Now, that single event wasn't the cause of all the anger, but it was the pemicu, that little spark that finally ignited the massive explosion.
Now this next word, amana, is absolutely fascinating. You know, a simple translation is trust or mandate, but that really doesn't do it justice. In Indonesian culture, amana is a sacred trust, a profound responsibility given by the people that has to be honored. So to betray it isn't just a political mistake, it's seen as a deep moral failure.
All right, here's a quick summary of those key terms we've covered, plus a few others from the text. Mengecewakan means disappointing. Meluapkan is that idea of venting or unleashing those feelings. And wakil rakyat are the people's representatives, the ones who are supposed to hold that amana. Feel free to pause here and review these building blocks. They're super important.
All right, we have the building blocks. Now let's put them together and see how they create meaning in full sentences. This is where the real power of the language starts to come to life.
Okay, let's look at this first example. The first part, ketika terjadi peristiwa, that just sets the scene, right? When the incident occurred. Then the second part explains the consequence. Hal itu menjadi pemicu. It became the trigger. See that clear cause and effect? The structure of the sentence itself reinforces the text's main argument. One small event kicking off a huge reaction.
This next sentence is great because it sets up such a powerful contrast. It puts the ideal, what representatives should be, right up against actions that break that secret trust. Let's break this one down. You know, when we lay it out like this, the author's message becomes crystal clear. First, you've got the subject, the representatives. Second, their obligation. They should be trustworthy, or amana. And third, the thing they shouldn't do, the action that violates that trust, not flaunting their wealth. This simple structure makes the criticism incredibly direct and really, really powerful.
So, we've analyzed the words, we've broken down the sentences. Now it's time to zoom back out and look at the big picture. What is the main message the author really wants us to walk away with?
So after dissecting all that language, what does it all add up to? What is the core, bottom line message of this powerful text?
It all really boils down to these three key takeaways. First, public anger isn't just random, it's an akumulasi. Second, a single event can become the pemicu that unleashes all that built-up frustration. And finally, everything is held together by this powerful concept of amana. The text argues that when this sacred trust is broken, it strikes at the very heart of the social contract.
And that brings us to our final thought. By learning just 3 words, accumulase, pemicu, and amana, we haven't just learned some vocabulary. We've actually gained a window into how a culture frames its frustrations, its expectations, and its very sense of justice. It just goes to show you that sometimes the key to understanding a really big issue is hidden in the smallest of words. Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe.